from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Bringing you the news from Sri Lanka and across the world, this is the National News broadcast on Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I'm Siobhan Pereira.
A very good evening to you. I'm Sharifah Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
The second reading of the draft bill on the Inland Revenue and Social Security contributions has been passed in Parliament. Former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa reacts to the Channel 4 video. The Minister of Justice says investigation on an international scale will also be conducted regarding the Easter attack. The President says the program to bring the country towards a modern commercialized industrialization will be commenced. July remittances of the Aswasuma beneficiaries are to be credited to banks tomorrow. Reconstruction of the Kalani Valley Railway line begins. Japan is also on the lunar expedition by sending into the space its latest rocket.
Moving on to those and other stories in detail now. A look at local news first. The second reading of the Inland Revenue Amendment Bill was passed by a majority of 45 votes in Parliament this evening.
The bill was passed with 103 voting in favour and 58 voting against. Speaker Mahindayapa Bewardena announced at the end of the debate and voting process. Parliamentarians debated today, presenting facts supporting and opposing the Inland Revenue Amendment Bill. Main topic was the status of the Employees Provident Fund, EPF, following the proposed domestic debt restructuring process. Opposition parliamentarians made highly critical speeches on the measures related to the EPF as the parliamentarians representing the government downplayed the speculations. State Minister for Finance Ranjit Siyambalapitiya said bonds had to be restructured to take an International Monetary Fund program. A 9% return would be given to EPF holders, the government said. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri, citing a central bank assessment report, said the impact of the new law could reduce the annual EPF return to 9.72% from the current 10.99%, which is given with a 14% corporate tax. He further said that if the EPF is not going to be subject to domestic debt restructuring and going to be imposed a 30% corporate tax instead of the current 14%, like other private pension funds, then the annual return will be reduced to 8.62%. He said it is a choice between 9.72% and 8.62%. This law has to be passed for the central bank to decide to choose the option. The foreign minister said. Opposition legislator Harsha De Silva said the restructure was no voluntary and a future government will redress the injustice to EPF holders. Those statements are made that 9% would be paid to EPF holders in the next few years. There was no guarantee, De Silva, who heads the Parliament's Committee on Public Finance, said. Meanwhile, the Social Security Contribution Levy Amendment Bill was also passed in Parliament without a vote. Yesterday, Speaker of Parliament Mahindayapa Bewardena communicated the Supreme Court's determination on the Inland Revenue Amendment Bill. The Supreme Court had determined that the bill should be passed by a simple majority in Parliament, while maintaining that neither the bill, which was challenged in court, nor any of its provisions are inconsistent with Article 12 or any provisions of the Constitution. Last week, the Supreme Court concluded the deliberations of the petitions filed challenging the Inland Revenue Amendment Draft Bill, which was presented to the Parliament by the government. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that taking the Biyagama Free Trade Zone as an example, a program will get underway towards a new commercialization, industrialization in the country in the next 2 decades.
Biyagama, an underdeveloped area in the past, has achieved enormous development with the commencement of the Biyagama Trade Zone. The President has made these remarks participating in the centenary celebrations at the Al Mubarak Central College in Malvana Beergama last evening. The President, upon arrival, was given a rousing welcome. He also declared open a new 3-storied building of the school and released a commemoration stamp on centenary celebration. The President further said on this occasion that people's representatives should commit themselves to bring more investment opportunities for the development of their respective districts. President Ranil Wickremesinghe recalled his promise to create employment opportunities in the area when the first visited Malvana in 1977. Upon entering this region and initiating educational initiatives, the President also made a promise to provide employment opportunities to the local community. Recognizing the need for industrial development in the area, former President J.R. Jayawardena expressed his desire to establish the Katunayaka Free Trade Zone and create a second free trade zone. The President said that the land required to establish this free trade zone was available only in this region. The coconut groves eventually became the Beergama Free Trade Zone. Today, the Beergama Trade Zone is acclaimed as the premier trading zone in South Asia. If the Katunayaka and Beergama trade zones were to be merged, they would become unrivaled. The President further said that they launched Kaduwala factories with Beergama at its core, attracting foreign investments that have transformed the landscape.
බියගම කරපු කර්මාන්තකරණය තර එකක් ලංකාව වෙන කොහෙවත් අපි ඇති කළා නැහැ. මේක අපි මෙතෙන්ට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. මේක අපි කරන්න ඕනේ. මේක අපි කරපු නැති එකයි තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ. හැමතැනම බියගම වාගේ තිබුණා නම් කටුනායක වාගේ තිබුණා නම් අද අපි හිඟමනේ යන්නේ නැහැ. බියගම උදාහරණයක් අරගෙන අපි විශාල කර්මාන්තකරණයක් කළා. අද බියගම කැලණිය කඩවතාවේ
Several state ministers and other people's representatives also took part in the event. President Ranil Wickremesinghe is set to depart for Cuba to address the G77 China Leaders Summit next week. The summit themed current development challenges, role of science, technology and innovation is scheduled for September 15th and 16th, 2023 in Havana, Cuba.
President Wickremesinghe's participation in the summit comes as a result of an official invitation from Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel. Alongside the summit, there are plans for bilateral discussions between President Wickremesinghe and the Cuban president to further strengthen the cooperation between Sri Lanka and Cuba. The G77 China Leaders Summit represents the largest intergovernmental coalition of 134 developing nations as recognized by the United Nations. It serves as a platform for southern countries to voice and promote their shared economic interests while enhancing their collaborative negotiating capabilities. This conference offers an opportunity to address contemporary challenges in the realms of science, technology and innovation, exploring cooperative solutions, particularly through inter-southern collaboration. The leaders of these nations are expected to adopt the Havana Declaration during the summit, which will outline guidelines for reforms and new approaches to enhance cooperation among southern countries in the fields of science, technology and innovation. Aruni Vijayawardena, Secretary to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, along with a delegation of senior officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, will also accompany the President for this significant conference.
Vote on the no-confidence motion against Health Minister Keheliya Ramukwala is scheduled to be conducted in Parliament tomorrow evening. A debate in this regard was conducted for the second consecutive day today. Specialist Dr. Ananda Vijayvikrama has said that medicines rejected by the Special Medical Committee have been imported by NMRA with approval of Health Secretary. When the Ministry Minister Keheliya Ramukwala said that there is a special health committee for the approval of medicines for usage. The approval of the committee is needed for the CEO to import the medicines. Specialist Dr. Ananda Vijayvikrama has been removed from the committee. The minister has requested members not to get advice from the members. Parliamentarian Kavinda Jayawardena said that the waiver of the registration has been granted to the propofol. According to the reports, this propofol was failed to be used in practice in the year 2020. In this report, it was mentioned urgently to recall the propofol. The reason is that the government doesn't need to pay 25% of payment for that company. This company has been banned in India. The report says that this company was requested to import propofol even when it was banned. Minister K.D. Abukwala said that he would consider any proposal to be made to prove any death caused due to taking propofol. It is to be reminded that propofol has been approved by and given waiver of registration by the Special Health Committee. Our State Minister Shehan Semsingh says funds have already been credited to the bank amounting to 1.5 million rupees for the month of July for 257,170 recipients of whose accounts in the second stage of the Aswasama program have already been established. He further says that upon confirmation of accounts, the Welfare Beneficiaries Board will take measures to transfer payments for the remaining recipients as well. It is also hoped to make relevant payments for the month of August for all beneficiaries at once. The State Minister adds that so far the government has paid a sum of 6.566 million rupees for 1,048,170 Aswasama beneficiaries. Payments for all recipients will be finalized after conclusion on investigation, appeals and objections. Former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says the latest videotape on Channel 4 is a bogus creation intended towards mudslinging on the Rajapaksa administration which came into power in 2005.
Former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa in a media communique further says that the same channel was also engaged in fabricating false information on Sri Lanka in previous occasions as well. The central allegation made in the latest film on Sri Lanka broadcasted by Channel 4 is that the Easter Sunday suicide bombings of 21st April 2019 carried out by Islamic extremists had been deliberately facilitated in order to create the conditions to get me elected to power in November 2019. This charge hinges on claims made by one Hanzir Azad Maulana, an applicant for political asylum in Europe. Major General Suresh Saleh had acted to introduce me to the principal suicide bomber Zaharan and his brother Zaini Maulavi. Major General Saleh has been described as one of my loyalists. However, he is a career military officer who has served under many presidents, and all military officers are loyal to the state and not to private individuals. After leaving the position of Defense Secretary in 2015 and until I was elected President, Major General Saleh and I had no contact at all. Major General Saleh had informed Channel 4 that he had been removed from the position of Director of Military Intelligence and was serving in Malaysia as Minister Councillor from 2016 to December 2018, and that he had not been in Sri Lanka at the time this meeting is said to have taken place. After Major General Saleh was removed from military intelligence in 2016, he never served in that organization again. It was only after I became president that he rejoined the intelligence apparatus as the head of State Intelligence Service from December 2019 onwards. Hence, this story about Major General Saleh meeting the suicide bombers in February 2018 is clearly a fabrication. The Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the Easter Sunday bombings has stated quite clearly that signs of a Muslim extremist build-up was ignored by the government of 2015 to 2019. They stated that the revelation made by the then Justice Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa on 18th November 2016 that 32 Sri Lankans had gone to Syria and joined the ISIS terrorist group, and that foreign Islamic preachers were coming to Sri Lanka to propagate extremist teachings had been ignored. The Easter Sunday suicide bombers had held training camps from 23rd to 25th March 2018 at a guest house in Levella, and more gatherings had been held in April and May 2018 at a guest house in Nore Elia, all of which had been reported to the police but had not been investigated. One of the allegations made against me and my government in this latest film is that after becoming president, I sabotaged the investigation by transferring officers carrying out the investigation. I assume that this is a reference to the former director of the CID, Shani Abesekara. Leaked telephone recordings had revealed that he had conspired with a politician to influence the outcome of an ongoing criminal case in High Court, and he could not be kept in a position of responsibility in the CID under any circumstances by any government. The police officers attached to the Presidential Commission to investigate the Easter Sunday attacks were not transferred after I came into power. Channel 4 states that when the report of the Presidential Commission to investigate the Easter Sunday attacks published its report, that I refused to make it public. That is an outright lie. Everyone in Sri Lanka knows that it has been tabled in Parliament. A nearly 2-year investigation by the FBI, which assisted Sri Lankan authorities in the wake of the suicide bombings that targeted Christian churches and luxury hotels frequented by Westerners. The latest film by Channel 4 is mostly an anti-Rajapaksa tirade aimed at blackening the Rajapaksa legacy from 2005 onwards, and is a tissue of lies, just like the previous films broadcast by the same channel. To claim that a group of Islamic terrorist extremists launched a suicide attack in order to make me president is absurd, despite the politically motivated accusations being made against me by certain individuals. I have personally done everything possible to help the Roman Catholic community when I held government office. After the war ended, I helped the restoration and reconstruction of the Madu Church and the church in Mullikula. I also helped facilitate the arrangements to invite His Holiness the Pope to Sri Lanka, and I headed the committee formed by the then government to organize the visit. I also played a key role in the construction of the Benedict XVI Catholic Institution of Higher Education in Bolavalana. I worked very closely with His Eminence, the Cardinal, during that period.
Minister of Justice Vijaydas Rajapaksa says the government is ready to conduct an investigation on the domestic level over the Easter attack and also allow an international investigation as well. The minister was addressing a media briefing in Colombo today. Minister Vijaydas Rajapaksa said that the Channel 4 has links to the Tamil diaspora from the past. When such allegations are levelled through a documentary, there occurs great publicity for the channel throughout the world. Getting such publicity can be considered one of Channel 4's main objective. This institution is not on the side of innocent victims of the Sunday Easter attack. This channel is running towards achieving global publicity, which they have been doing. The minister added that this should not be taken lightly. The motive for conducting such actions will have to be investigated, adding that they will be investigating the allegations mentioned in the documentary. The minister further said that the new Anti-Corruption Act will come into force with effect from the 15th of this month. The minister said that they have informed the Speaker in writing that they will implement this act by this month through the 21st Amendment to the Constitution, and with regards to the previous privileges of this act, they will appoint suitable members accordingly. The Meteorology Department says that intermittent rain and thunder showers may occur in the western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and Kandy and Nuwara Galle and Mathura districts tonight.
In certain locations in the western and the Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Puttlam districts, fairly heavy rainfall of more than 50 millimeters is expected as well. Many low-lying areas in Bulat Sinhala, Paragoda, Dambara and Etambagashandia have been flooded due to increase in water level of Kukuleganga. Obstructions have been posed for vehicle transportation in the inundated areas, and people were seen travelling using boats. One sluice gate of the Kukuleganga reservoir continues to remain open. Our correspondent says the reservoir is releasing a water capacity of 30 cubic meters of the Kudangaga within a second. The upper catchment areas of the Kukuleganga are reported to be receiving less water as a result of somewhat decline in rainfall. Overflowing of water in the Kattakadua lake is reported to have commenced amidst heavy showers. However, in the recent past, the Kattakadua reservoir was supplied water from the Chandrika River, and several days and even police protection was deployed in this regard. Meanwhile, the Department of Agriculture says damages have been caused to around 61,600 acres of paddy lands in the Yala season due to floods, dry weather conditions and spread of numerous diseases. Engineering of the Irrigation Department of SPC Sugeshwara said that this situation will prevail throughout today. People who are travelling on those areas have to be very cautious. The low areas in the Nilvala River and Ginganga are reported to be having higher water flow. The Attanagalu Oya in the Gampa district is having a similar situation as well. He added that if the prevailing raining conditions continue in the upcoming days, the rivers in the southwestern regions will have a flooding situation. Therefore, people should be aware of the situation. The prevailing rainfall has not resulted in raising the water levels of any reservoirs. Even at present, the water level of many reservoirs is still at 26% level.
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says in order to keep water reservoirs in Colombo clean, the massive legal authority of the Colombo Municipal Council to prevent the pollution of the environment should be implemented. The Prime Minister has made these observations launching a new project to clean the waters of Beira Lake today. At present, water in the Beira Lake remain in an extremely polluted level. A project to clean the water using latest Japanese technology got underway at a cost of $3 million. Japan bears the full expenditure of the project and hopes to engage in the project for 20 years. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that the support provided by Japanese institutions to transform the Beira Lake into a beautiful lake to restore this unique ecosystem to Colombo and to open the doors to take the water industry to a very advanced level. It is unique, and the Premier added that through implementation of this authoritative power source, the country could keep its water and lakes clean while maintaining a good cooperation with the people.
Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena has presided over the inauguration of the reconstruction of the Kalani Valley Railway Line project today. The ceremony was held at the Homagama railway station premises. The project utilizes discarded railway track and other items of the Northwestern Railway line. The work is scheduled to be completed within 2 years. The current low-speed restrictions are to be removed within a year. 2,359 railings and 25,728 concrete sleepers are being used in the reconstruction of the 59-kilometer long Kalani Valley line at a cost of 1.27 billion rupees. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that through the Indian loan scheme, they were able to create a new railway track that can travel up to speeds of up to 100 kilometers per hour from Anuradhapura to Omante. This was completed within 6 months. Now trains from Anuradhapura to Kankasanture could travel up to speeds of 100 kilometers per hour. The reusable railway pillars from this line will be used for the 2 railway projects. They will be used for the reconstruction of railway lines from Homagama to Avissawella and from Anuradhapura to Mihintale. 3 emu birds and 4 ring-tailed lemur monkeys donated to Sri Lanka by the Czech Republic under Animal Exchange Program were brought to the island from the Katunayake airport yesterday.
The animals were brought from Istanbul city, Turkey. Emu bird, of which the birthplace is Australia, is unable to fly but could run at a speed of 48 kilometers per hour. The ring-tailed lemur monkey's birthplace is Madagascar Island, but certainly facing the threat of extinction. The animals were brought to the Vagola Zoological Gardens in Pinnavalla from the airport. They will be subjected to 1-month quarantine period and later on be released for public display. The 2 male and 2 female lemur monkeys and the 3 emu birds are being safely kept at the zoo. In the meantime, dual novels and a new song compiled by Secretary to the Ministry of Defence, retired General Kamal Gunaratne, were unveiled at the Ananda College, Kularatne Hall in Colombo today in the presence of President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
First copies of the 2 novels Tarage Atme and Kadoletu were presented to the President by the Defence Secretary. Thereafter, copies were presented to Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, former Speaker Karu Jayasuriya, and Senior Presidential Advisor on National Security and Chief of Presidential Staff Sagala Ratnayaka. The song Age Kandulali Gita, written by retired General Kamal Gunaratne, was sung by veteran singer of the new generation Abhisheka Vimalavira, of which music was provided by Yasas Madagedara. The keynote address was delivered by Professor Praneeth Abesundara. The event was also attended by Mahasangha and clergymen of other religious denominations, ministers, state ministers, parliamentarians, ambassadors, and artists.
API Asia 2023 Information Technology Seminar is scheduled to be conducted in November in Colombo. The objective of holding the event is for an intrusion to a market with higher competition through digital transformation, and another aim is to enhance IT knowledge in the state and private sectors.
Special media meeting in this regard was presided over by State Minister Kanaka Herath at the Presidential Media Centre. The upcoming conference will focus attention on three crucial pillars of digital economy: the artificial intelligence, smart cities and financial technology. The Sri Lanka Information Conference is organizing the event to be conducted in Sri Lanka for the second time. Will get underway with the participation of more than 500 professionals. Opening of the official website also took place. The conference will be conducted in parallel to the concept of the President DigiCon Sri Lanka 2023 to 2030. Co-president of the API Conference 2023, that Sanjay Dayananda, was also present.
International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies falls today. The aim of the day is to socialize the message to enhance the qualitative value of air. Air pollution is the biggest environmental threat in human health. According to the year 2016 data of the World Health Organization, indoor and outdoor air pollution was the cause of 6.5 million unexpected and tragic deaths worldwide. The United Nations General Assembly has declared the International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies in the year 2019. This day is being commemorated on the 7th of September every year from the year 2020 onwards. It has also been pointed out that 99% of the population throughout the world inhale polluted air. As a result, many types of non-infectious diseases are being reported at present. The International Day hopes to see all citizens in the world get together to eliminate the breathing of impure air and to achieve the target of blue skies filled with clean air. A special celebration in this connection was held in Setsiripai premises in Battaramulla today. The event was jointly organized by the Ministry of Environment, the Central Environmental Authority, Vehicle Air Emission Fund and the Department of Motor Traffic. Under the program, a haphazard and instant check of smoke emissions of vehicles on the road was conducted. In parallel to this event, another program got underway to enlighten motorists, pedestrians and school children. Secretary to the Ministry of Environment Consultant Dr. Anil Jasinghe said that the World Health Organization has estimated that 7 million persons would die due to air pollution. If this trend continues, the entire population would perish due to air pollution sooner.
Swarna Mallavarachi cinematic felicitation ceremony was held in Kingsbury, Australia recently. It was organized by the Sri Lanka Australia Organisation. The epic cinema stories of which Swarna Mallavarachi had acted, titled Hantane Katava, Dadema and Hansavilak, was screened on this occasion. President of the Australian Society of Sri Lankan Agrarian and Veterinary Graduates, Ike Ratnasinghe, and President of the Sri Lanka Australia Organisation, Bandhu Dissanayake, have presented souvenirs to the veteran actor.
Well, that's it on Local Stories. We'll be back with news overseas. 5 boundaries. Captain of the Sri Lanka team, Athapathu, has received both awards, Hero of the Match and Hero of the Tournament. This was the first victory by Sri Lanka team against England women's team in any type of cricket.
And that was a look at your news broadcast on Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I am Siobhan Pereira together with Sharifa Tahir, wishing you a pleasant evening. Good night.